Hi, everyone. It's Joe Veneri, the host of Fit Insider, the show where I talk with the entrepreneurs, executives, and investors who are redefining the business of fitness and wellness. Hey, everyone. It's Joe Veneri, the host of Fit Insider. Today, I'm joined by Ethan Agarwal. Ethan is the founder and CEO of Aaptiv. In today's episode, we talk to Ethan about building an executive team as a solo founder, how Aaptiv creates community among its users, and the role of personalization in the future of fitness. I had a great time chatting with Ethan, and I hope you enjoy listening. Let's get into it. Hi, Ethan. Welcome to Fit Insider. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me.
To kick things off, can you tell us about how Aaptiv got started and where the company is today?
Yeah, sure. So Aaptiv is a digital health company that I started about 3.5 years ago. This is my first startup. My background is in finance and consulting originally. But right around 2014, 2015, I got really unhealthy. I gained a lot of weight. I was traveling a lot, couldn't find solutions to help me eat right and work out. And so I was looking for something to help me get back to health. And, I don't know if you've ever gained a lot of weight, but, you have the aesthetic problems, but actually it's a much deeper challenge because it's mentally and emotionally challenging. And that's what I was really trying to recover from. And so, I looked at the classes that were available, studio classes, personal trainers, a lot of different apps. And none of them really felt personalized. They really felt like they were treating me as a sort of a number as opposed to a person. And so I was looking for a really personalized solution. And I realized that there's probably a lot of other people looking for that same problem. Or looking for that same solution. And so that's how Aaptiv was born, was really just out of a personal need.
Can you take us back to when you were first getting started? How did you go from idea to product and then scaling the company?
Yeah, sure. The starting out phase was a lot of iteration. I had an idea, which was that audio was a better way to consume workout content than video because you're not tethered to staring at a piece of hardware while you're trying to work out. And so that was the crux of the idea. But then there was a lot of work to think about, what kind of trainers, what kind of classes, difficulty, duration level, what categories does it work best for? How do you use music? Should it be motivating versus more objective? So there's a lot of work that I had to do early on. Should it be live versus on demand? And this was probably 18 months of iteration, which involved talking to a lot of random people and, begging literally people on the street to listen to the classes and get their feedback and to continually iterate on it. So that first part, as I said, took about 1.5 years. And then we started catching a little bit of traction in Q4 of 2015. And what we did is we were advertising on, Facebook and other platforms. And as we started growing, I took all of the new revenue that we were generating and put it right back into growth. And so it started building upon itself. And so we grew from I remember in September of 2015, we did $5,000 in revenue. And then in January of 2016, we did $55,000. And then by July of 2016, we did $370,000. So it really just grew quite quickly from there.
Right. Having to keep up with demand is a good problem to have. Now, thinking about where the company is today, having raised more than $50 million, hundreds of thousands of users, being one of the top ranked fitness apps out there, is this the vision you had all along for the company? Did you think Aaptiv would reach the scale that you're currently at, or did you think it would be bigger?
No, where we are today is 1% of where I think this company can go. Just in the US, there's 40 million people that run. There's 54 million people that have a gym membership. And those numbers are at least 5 times bigger outside of the US. And so I'm proud of what our company and our team has done for sure in the last 3.5 years. But we're really scratching the surface. There's a lot more from a product development perspective, from the quality of personalization, and from a member-based perspective.
So it sounds like you had a huge vision from the onset. With that in mind, how have you gone about building the team and the culture as the company has scaled?
Yeah, so I'm a solo founder, which has its pros and cons. I had a very specific perspective of what I wanted to build, a very specific vision, and so it was important to me that I am able to build around that, and so that's why I chose to be a solo founder. There's a lot of benefits and there's a lot of challenges associated with that, especially given that I'm a first time person, so a first time founder. And so when it came to hiring, two things were critically important. One was that I knew that the first set of folks that I hire are going to be emblematic of what this entire company looks like 5 years, 10 years down the road, because eventually I would not be doing all the hiring and those people would be. And so I was very selective and careful about the people that we hired from a cultural standpoint. And then the second thing was from a skill set and sort of execution perspective. I was aware that the first set of people that I hire are going to impact what this company builds and what this company does 3 or 5 or 7 or 10 years down the road. And so the first executive hire I made was a guy named Chris Fisher, and Aaptiv is his seventh startup. So he's literally the opposite of me. I have no technical background. He's been a CTO at 4 different companies. He's had 2 exits. He's also just brilliant, aside from being an excellent technologist. And so Chris and I worked really closely together. I brought the product and the business and the understanding of how to grow this, and Chris brought his technical expertise, his team building capabilities, and his visions on product. And so we worked together really closely. And Chris is still working here today, and the entire tech infrastructure and a lot of the product work that we've done has been as a result of the fact that he was the first executive hire that I made. And everyone else that we've hired since then has also been consistent with that mentality.
And how many employees are you up to now?
We're at just about 55.
Is that all in the New York office or some remote?
We're all based here in New York.
When you think about how you'll continue to innovate and provide value for users, what does Aaptiv's roadmap look like?
Yeah, I mean, so this year we focused a lot on product development. We launched a few new products. We launched a coaching product that provides a really prescriptive daily plan to people. We launched a team challenges product, which is for people who like to compete and like to see leaderboards and use that as an inspiration to work out. And so we're going to continue launching more and more products that cater towards specific types of people, because our belief is that anyone should have access to really high quality coaching, and different people are motivated in different ways. And so it's our job to create great products that will help motivate people and help them achieve their goals. So product development is one. One thing that we're proud about here is that we have a really strong and passionate community. Our members are sending us or sharing publicly literally hundreds of stories a day of how Aaptiv has helped them out in their journey. And so we intend to continue to build off that community. Sharing stories of success is really inspirational for a lot of people. And we want to do whatever we can to help people reach their goals. And then I think the third part of it is we do a lot of work on our content. Obviously, we started with 3 categories. Today we have 13. We started with 30 classes. Today we have 1,600. We release 40 new classes a week. Just last week, we launched Pilates as a new category. So we're continually innovating on the content development side as well. And I think, an approach that has all 3 of those, product development, community, and content, is what's going to help us scale.
You mentioned community there. Community, socializing, building a tribe is such an important part of fitness. How is Aaptiv able to replicate community when there's no physical interaction?
Yeah, that's a great question that you're asking, and it's exactly what we asked ourselves. But what we learned over time actually is that we're actually better at it. And I'll give you an example. So we have this product called Team Challenges, where you sign up for a program. Let's say it's like a 6-week boot camp, and you're placed into a group of 60 people, and you're competing against another group of 60 people. And every time you take a class, you score 5 points for your team. And there's a leaderboard, and at the end of the program, the team with the most points wins, right? And so there's a lot of studios that do competition and leaderboards within the class. But once you leave the class, all of that is gone. You don't know who those people are, and you're probably never going to see them again until the next class, if that. In our case, because these programs that we have are weeks or sometimes months long, the relationship and the sense of accountability that you develop to those people is way stronger because you're working with those same people for weeks and months on end. And so you really don't want to disappoint them. Versus if you're in a studio class, you see this person once for 45 minutes and then that's the end of your relationship. And so what we've done through digital is actually formed much longer lasting relationships. And then the second thing I'll say is because of the scale of our business, we're in all 50 states, we're in 19 countries. We finding someone that is like you is a lot easier on Aaptiv than it is finding someone like you in a class of 25 other people. Because just by the sheer scale of our numbers, there is likely someone else on Aaptiv who is going through what you are going through or has already been through it and can help you through it. And so the quality of the relationships is much higher.
That's a really interesting approach. Following up on the idea of adding value for users, how do you think about retention, preventing churn, and lifetime value?
Yeah, so retention is critical to any subscription business. And I think one of the things that we have done well is our monthly churn has become significantly better since we started the company, and it's all because of product development. I think the other important point is that innovation in any industry, but certainly in the wellness industry, cannot just be focused at the top. It is not fair and it is not right that you have to live in a big city and make a certain amount of money to have access to the best tools that are available. We're not talking about fancy clothes or flying first class. We're talking about health. And health is something that it should be independent, irrelevant how much money you make or where you live. You should have access to great product and great innovation and great coaching no matter where you live. And so what we've done through Aaptiv is, all the products that I mentioned to you earlier, whether it's Coach or Daily Plan or all of our classes or team challenges, all of that is available within our core subscription, which is $15 a month or $99 a year. And that price point does two things. One is it makes our market significantly larger than any of the companies that you just mentioned. And it makes our retention significantly better than any of the companies that you just mentioned because we are delivering immense value for how much you're paying. So a great example is Netflix. Netflix delivers outsized value to how much they charge, and they have 140 million subscribers around the world. When they went public, they had less members than we do today, which was in 1999, I think. And today, 20 years later, they have 140 million. And their monthly churn has gone from 11% to now 0.9% because of product innovation. We aspire to be a business of that impact, of that size. And you only get there by focusing on large enough demographics and creating really great product experiences. The incremental benefit is that because we are in the health space, the impact of the work that we do is literally life-changing. And so it's a fortunate place to be in, and it's a great responsibility that we have towards our members.
You brought up the comparison to Netflix. Does Aaptiv have a similar route going public in the future, potentially?
Sure, maybe one day. We're very happy being private right now, but maybe one day.
The reason I ask is because when you take on outside funding, the expectation is that at some point there will be a liquidity event. Is that something you're actively thinking about, or are you more focused on running the company day to day?
Yeah, more of the latter. And by the way, one of the other options is actually distributing cash back to your investors, which is something that no one thinks that startups do, but was actually the original intent of buying equity in a company was to receive dividend payments when that company generated positive cash flow. No one talks about that anymore, but we've done a lot of work on ensuring that we have a sustainable business model, which again is very contrary to a lot of the folks in our space. And so our investors are very happy about the way that we've structured the business.
You're right. That's a novel idea given the current state of startups. But on the topic of investors, your investors include the Amazon Alexa Fund, the Disney Accelerator, Warner Music. How do these connections come about, and are those investors providing strategic value?
Yeah, the relationships are varied. Some of them came to us, some of them we had existing relationships with. We did a pretty significant content licensing deal with Audible last year, and they're owned by Amazon, and Audible is very happy with the results. And so that's how we came to be. I happen to know one of the folks at Disney, so that's how that came to be. But yeah, look, I think any of these companies see tremendous opportunity with Aaptiv. Disney, for example, is building out their DTC product, Disney Plus, and we're obviously a digital DTC subscription business, so there's sort of clear opportunities there. They also own ESPN. They own Marvel franchise. There's a lot of different things within fitness and sports that are potentially interesting with Aaptiv. Amazon has Alexa, which is an audio product. So with all of, Bose is one of our investors that are obviously the leading player audio within the headphone space. And so all of these strategics and us saw a great sort of symbiotic opportunity.
Are there other collaborations like the Audible partnership that we should be on the lookout for?
No, there's definitely things coming down the road, but nothing I can speak to publicly right now.
Changing gears to the fitness industry more broadly, there's concern of a boutique fitness bubble. At the same time, there are a lot of competitors joining the on-demand and connected fitness space. What are your thoughts on the current landscape and where Aaptiv fits in?
Yeah, you're exactly right. There is a oversupply if you were to look across digital, retail, et cetera. And we agree. And so we launched a product about 4 months ago now, called Coach. And what this product does is it provides you with a daily plan of what to work out, how to recover, what nutrition to consume every day to help you reach your goal. But the most important part of this product is that it's totally agnostic as to whether you consume Aaptiv content or not in achieving your goal. So for example, if your plan for today says that you should do a 45-minute cardio workout, like a spin workout, we have dozens of 45-minute spin workouts, but if you choose to do that on a Peloton at home, great. When you come into Aaptiv next, it'll say, hey, Joe, it looks like you did a 45-minute spin class. Do you want to add that to your coach, to your daily plan for today? And we'll give you credit for that. And then our algorithm will update knowing that you did this workout outside. So we've created a product that actually absorbs all external workouts that you do or internal workouts, and it basically lives above all of them. So we don't really need to be the only place that you take the class because, by the way, you're making a good point, which is that this market is so diverse. There is actually no one player. Whoever you think the largest players are in the space, Equinox, Peloton, us, whoever, none of these companies, including us, have 100% of the wallet share of their users. People are doing all different things at different times. And so we said, instead of trying to sort of lie to ourselves about being the only provider, why not actually help the consumers where they need to be helped? And when I talk about personalization, that's where the coaching product solves that problem.
Building on that point, is there potential for consolidation and partnerships, or do you think Aaptiv will be focused on building a vertically integrated full stack solution?
I mean, look, I think the future is personal. People are overwhelmed with options and they need clarity. That's what I can say for sure. And, whether it's the studios combined or the gyms combined, I don't know. But I do think that whoever provides the most personalized product at the end of the day is going to win. Spotify didn't win because they had music. Lots of companies have music. Spotify won because of discovery, because they recommend new music to you that's specifically relevant to you, which is different than music relevant to me or Lauren. And no one is building anything like that in the fitness space except for us. Everyone else is focused on commoditization, and that's not, or either commoditization or completely non-scalable solutions, which is also not that interesting. So I don't have a magic 8-ball for what's going to happen 10 years from now in this space, but I can tell you that the most personalized experiences win at the end of the day.
Then would you also say that personalization is the biggest opportunity in the fitness space?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at other industries, products, and like Amazon's a great example. Amazon has every product under the sun, but they do a really good job of predicting what you're going to need next. And what you're going to need next is different than what I'm going to need next. And so you're more inclined to go to Amazon for that reason now. And they didn't start that way. They just started as a catalog of a whole bunch of stuff that was a little bit cheaper. but now they're good at finding out exactly what you need. Facebook was the same way. Facebook just started out with a bunch of profiles, and then they created a newsfeed. And your newsfeed looks super different than my newsfeed. Instagram created a very specific type of product, which is very personal. As we already talked about Spotify, very personalized experiences. Now, if you look at companies like Twitter or Reddit, all of these guys are creating highly personalized experiences. And I think within health and wellness, we're early, frankly, in the evolution of the space, because the last 10 years of air quote innovation in this space has not actually leveraged technology at all. All it's done is taken a non-digital medium. You used to watch a video on a VHS tape, and now you watch that exact same video on your iPhone. That's not innovation. That's just changing the distribution medium. No one's actually leveraging the power of software or data or technology to create personalized experiences. As I said early on, I hired a guy named Chris Fisher to be my CTO because he has tremendous experience in that role, and he was the first person that I hired in the exec capacity. So that's how we think about it. We think the personalization is the key to all of this, and the first company to really crack it is the one that's going to win.
That vision sounds like you're setting the tone for what the fitness industry will become and not adhering to what it is today.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I mean, if you were to think about any of the other industries that are succeeding right now, and you looked at where they were 10 years ago, they didn't look like this. Whether it's transportation, whether it's travel, whether it's social media, whether it's music, whether it's entertainment. And I think the fitness industry is due for something like that.
That's certainly an incredible vision. And wrapping things up, what are you most excited about at Aaptiv right now?
My favorite part of this job is we have the private page of Aaptiv members. There's a couple tens of thousands of people on this page, and they're posting, a couple hundred stories a day of what Aaptiv is doing for them. And it's the first thing I read in the morning when I wake up. It's the last thing I read at night before I go to sleep. And it's unbelievable the impact that we have on people and the transformations that people see. And ultimately, the stories that we read from people are about mental and emotions that Aaptiv has provided. We provide workouts, right? And so certainly you see physical benefits, but that's just a means to an end. And so what I'm excited about is, you asked me the question of how the company got started. Way, way early on, when I was trying to get this thing off the ground, we were running into walls left and right. And at some point I thought about giving up. And a close friend of mine and one of my early investors said, the few people that are using this product right now, the impact that they're seeing is so significant that you owe it to everyone else out there to keep doing this, because the impact that this product can have is massive. And so it's not about you, it's about everyone else. And that stuck with me. And so I stayed with it for years now. And that person turned out to be absolutely right, which is the impact that we have on people of all different age ranges, physical capabilities, income levels, genders, weights, geographic location. It's pretty incredible. And so I'm excited about seeing who else we can help out.
That's amazing. I think that's a perfect place to end. I'm very grateful for your time, Ethan. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks everyone for listening to today's episode. For more from Fit Insider, visit insider.fit.co and subscribe to our weekly newsletter for insights and analysis on the business of fitness and wellness. Then go ahead and subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. See you next time.